Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Monday, August 25th, 2025. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The Ministry of Education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has reported a delay in the full release of the 2025 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC results. This delay is due to several schools still awaiting results in certain subject areas. The update was provided by Minister of Education Curtis King during an appearance on WFM's Issues at Hand program on Sunday, where he shared preliminary results. According to Minister King, preliminary data indicates that SVG has recorded an overall increase in its CSEC pass rate by at least 5% despite ongoing challenges.
From what we have, the indication is that our students have improved their performances. If we look at CSEC on a whole, the trend is upwards. Okay, and last year we had a general overall percentage pass rate of 73, just over 73% for students within the secondary schools. This year we had 28 institutions taking the exam. That is to say 27 secondary school and a technical institute. And the performance of our students is above, I'd say right now in excess of 78%, which is quite significant.
However, while the pass rate in English has remained consistent, mathematics continues to be a major concern. The subject recorded an overall pass rate of just 30.5%, reflecting a further decline compared to the previous years.
We moved from about 61% back in, say, 2024. We are now above 85% pass rate in English A. So we have seen an upward trend. Where mathematics is concerned, the figure is not that good. And in fact, in looking at the figures, we have declined because back in 2014, the percentage pass rate was about 47%. Last year it was 31.60%. And this year it is little below 31, actually is about 30.5%, which shows that math has been fluctuating. And if we look at it from 2014 to now, it's really a decline. So that while the students continue to do good generally, we still have a persistent challenge in mathematics. And it's something that we are seeking to address.
As it relates to school performances, the Girls High School emerged as the top performing secondary institution this year, followed by the St. Vincent Grammar School.
Yeah, the Girls High School is among the top school throughout the English-speaking Caribbean. Their result is over 98%, and it is likely to go up a little bit because you expect that they would have 100% pass in social studies. Yes, and there's also a next subject, industrial technology. Not so many students, but they are also ungraded, so they are expecting results there. The St. Vincent Grammar School, their percentage pass rate is in excess of 94%. You know, those two schools are always out there, but they're not too far ahead of the St. Martin Secondary School. This year, the St. Martin Secondary School recorded pass rate of over 89%. And we have the convent, Kingston and Mespo. Kingston is like 85% thereabout, and Mespo is about 83. Thomas Saunders is 88%. So basically, we have two schools in obtaining pass rate of over 90%. And 6 with over 80%. There would be 5 between 70 and 79.
The Ministry of Education remains hopeful that the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, will release the outstanding subjects results later this week. CXC officially announced the regional results 1 week ago, but some schools in SVG are still awaiting the final subject grades. A number of mathematics teachers from across the country are participating this week in a mathematics enhancement program designed to better equip them for the 2025-2026 academic year. The official opening ceremony and day one activities were held today at the UWI Global Campus, SVG. The workshop is sponsored by the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, and is being facilitated by Dr. Joanne Fernandez and Dr. Louis George, both consultants from Jamaica. Delivering remarks at the opening, Dr. Joanne Fernandez acknowledged that while the Caribbean region has seen a 4% improvement in CSEC mathematics pass rate this year, there is still a significant work to be done. She also encouraged early practical application of mathematics in classrooms to build stronger foundations.
To notice is that if we come from grade 2, where we're seeing 59.79, right? And as the children go up in a grade, we're noticing that there's a steady decline. You see that? So if we're not too ready in grade 2 and we get to grade 4, we're slipping. It gets a little bit harder because now we're not talking about 1 and 1 equal 2 anymore. Yeah? So we're getting into more complicated matters, multiplication, division, fractions, decimals, and so on. And then we go to grade 6, and the thing fall apart. It gets a little bit more challenging. So we have to try and see how we're going to bridge all of these gaps. And then it plays off itself in CXC. So we know there's a problem that we have to address.
Dr. Fernandez explained that Mathematics Enhancement Program utilizes a model developed specifically for the CDB, which examines existing policies and strategies aimed at improving teaching and learning process.
We're looking at who are the learning enablers. Do we have fully competent teachers, nurture and environment, research and innovation? Some of us, all of us went through college. And some of us just, like me, just passed the math. Because I had to do it. But I wasn't teaching primary ed. I was teaching secondary. I'm a secondary trained teacher. So I told myself I didn't need this maths thing, you know. I'll just make sure I'm a great, still trying, English language teacher and a teacher of social studies. And wherever the maths coming into any of those, I'll work with it. But then over time I learned, no way. I needed that combination of things, right? So I had to do more, especially when you're in a PhD program and I chose quantitative analysis, not qualitative. For somebody who was afraid of math, I went straight into quanti. So I had to dry the tears and do the job. Now if I were doing that from way back, it would not have been as difficult. But I made it because I had to, and it became applicable, yeah?
She also highlighted a recurring issue in the teaching of the subject. Dr. Fernandez said one of the main challenges is that mathematics is often taught in a way that is too theoretical. She said they need to make it more applicable and relatable for students.
Too scary, too somewhere else other than my Tylers who know how to use it. The person who designed and put that desk together. If the math wasn't right, it would collapse the minute you put your elbow on it, as you have it there. No, it would just fall apart. Yeah? The clothes we wear, that dressmaker, that tailor, without the math, it would be Hillabully right home. It would not fit. Yeah? So application. We're looking at the curriculum. We're going to be working, and I know that a new curriculum is being piloted, so we have to work hand in hand with those with OECS and the harmonized curriculum alongside whatever you're using now, right? Teacher preparation, we're looking at both in-service and pre-service. Cave Hill is doing the in-service part, pre-service, and we're working on the in-service. We're looking at effective evaluation strategies, assessment, instructional resources. You're going to get some resources that you need, but I have the experience of Caribbean Centers of Excellence when we gave the teachers a wish list. They got the wish list. And then some of those things, when we went into the classrooms, we had to unpack them because they were not being used. So even though people wanted this and that because it could enhance the teaching of literacy and so on, they were not being used for the most part. We had to literally hold teachers' hands to get used to using the things, and then to use those teachers who were good at it to show other teachers, don't be afraid. Let's give it a try, yeah?
The week-long training is expected to strengthen instructional practices and improve student outcomes in mathematics across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Students who have been awarded scholarships by the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECU, are currently participating in a leadership symposium designed to foster personal and professional development. Cornelia Moses, Human Resources Manager at GECU, emphasized the importance of supporting young people throughout their academic journeys, particularly in helping them to develop strong leadership skills.
Proudly supported the dreams of young people for over 40 years through its scholarship program, helping students to achieve their academic goals, and you are no exception. Building on this legacy, the GECU Youth Symposium was launched in 2012 to expose our scholarship recipients to the values and principles of the cooperative movement, and to create a space where you can be inspired, challenged, and empowered, not just in your studies, but as future leaders, innovators, and change makers in your communities. Our CEO encourages each of you to embrace every learning experience, remain curious, and continue to develop your skills and your character. Success is more than grades. It is about resilience, values, and making a positive impact wherever you go.
Nikisha Williams, Deputy Chairperson of GECU's Scholarship Committee, highlighted that each year a new cohort of young scholars join the leadership program, building bonds that can last a lifetime. Williams encouraged all participants to take full advantage of the opportunities provided, noting that this program is unique to GECU scholarship holders.
Of a fantastic retreat. It's a chance to step away from the books and really connect, celebrate the hard work you've put in, and invest in the leaders that we all know you are becoming. Speaking of which, a huge congratulations to our new scholarship holders. I said good morning to you before, but I really want to put our hands together for them as we welcome them to our GECU family. Look around. You're surrounded by some of the brightest young minds in our country. You're here because your grit and dedication stood out. And we know the path to this point was not an easy walk in the park. It was paved with late nights and tough challenges. So take this moment to be absolutely proud of yourselves and know that the scholarship is recognition of your incredible merit.
This year marks the 13th edition of the Leadership Symposium, a testament to GECU's ongoing commitment to youth development and nation building through education and leadership training. Dr. Patrina Badnock-Williams on the radio on Friday brought attention to the health risk associated with Helicobacter pylori, or H. pylori, a bacteria that infects the stomach and its leading cause of ulcers worldwide. During her appearance on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program, Dr. Badnock-Williams explained that H. pylori infection is common and often contracted during childhood. If left untreated, the bacteria can remain in the body for many years, silently damaging the stomach lining.
The full name, we only abbreviate the H, but it's Helicobacter pylori. And it is a bacteria. It's one of the most common chronic bacterial infections. It is a gram-negative bacteria. It colonizes the stomach or the gastric mucosa, and it causes ulcers and cancers, along with gastritis in the stomach. Can I give you a bit of history?
Of course, go right ahead.
Right. So it was the Helicobacter, I will abbreviate the H for Helicobacter. So H. pylori was first described in medical literature over 100 years ago. But its formal identification was done in 1982 by doctors Barry Marshall and Robin Warren, who were able, through experiments, to make a direct link to the H. pylori and its role in causing gastritis and peptic ulcers. And that was in 2005 when they won the Nobel Prize. So prior to 1982 or even prior to 2005, it would not have been mentioned a lot in our communities. But I guess for us, even from after 2010, I guess, it has been more recognized and more tested.
All right. Yeah.
She outlines several common symptoms of H. pylori infection, including persistent stomach pain, bloating, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, and in some cases, unintended weight loss. To diagnose the infection, a number of medical tests are available, such as breath tests, stool antigen tests, blood tests, and in certain cases, an endoscopy.
The symptoms for H. pylori, we have the excessive belching, we have the burning in the stomach pain, the feeling full after your regular amount of food, or feeling full with a lesser quantity of food. You can have nausea, bloating, and reflux. So for a person who never had H. pylori before, there are two tests.
Mm-hmm.
Well, three. So the most accurate test that is non-invasive is the urease breath test. That test is not available in St. Vincent. What we do have available is the serum or the blood test, which you can check for the antibody, the H. pylori antibody. But that one is only recommended for persons who would have never had the infection before. If you had an H. pylori infection and you were treated, the recommended test to do would be the stool test, which is the stool antigen test. And that should check for eradication as well. So you can do it as a pre-test to see if you have the bacteria, but it is the only test that is recommended to check for eradication of the bacteria. And that testing for eradication should be done at least 1 month or 2 weeks after the treatment for the H. pylori is completed.
Okay.
Dr. Badnock Williams further explained that treatment typically involves a combination of antibiotics to eliminate the bacteria along with acid-reducing medications to promote healing of the stomach lining. She emphasized that early testing and timely treatment are critical to preventing serious complications such as gastric ulcers and, in rare cases, stomach cancer.
So, yes, the H. pylori, once identified, it should be treated. The treatment is with antibiotics. So worldwide, in the last 5-10 years, we would have had some resistance to what would have been the first line treatment, because we have different lines of treatment. So the first line would have been the antibiotic amoxicillin and clarithromycin. But because we have documented resistance to the clarithromycin in particular, so the regimen has been adjusted, but the treatment is still with the antibiotics. You could still use the amoxicillin along with metronidazole, or what we call bismuth subcitrate, or that can be substituted with tetracycline along with the metronidazole, which are also antibiotics. And the constant has to be a proton pump inhibitor, or what we commonly call the antacid. right? But depending on the patient's allergies and tolerance to the antibiotics, there are different regimens that can be used to effectively eradicate the bacteria.
Listeners are encouraged to seek medical attention if they experience any of the symptoms associated with H. pylori, as a prompt diagnosis and treatment can lead to full recovery and prevent long-term health issues. 7 contestants have officially entered the race for the prestigious title of Miss SVG 2025 under the theme La Flor Royale. This year's pageant promises several changes, both on stage and off-stage segments, aiming to bring a refreshed experience to the long-standing national event. The grand finale is scheduled for November 1st, 2025. The contestants were formally sashed by their sponsors during the official pageant's launch, which took place on Saturday at the Botanical Gardens. The sash contestants are Charisma Charles, Miss Instacash; Anicia Clark, Miss Grenadine House; and Zinga Derche, Miss Republic Bank EC Limited; Elrica Games, Miss Executive Air; Lori John, Miss Dashville Construction Equipment Sales Limited; Kayla Jordan, Miss Lotto; Anelia Williams, Miss Lynch Caribbean Brokers Limited. Karen Vera, acting chair of the Beauty Shows Committee, announced that the cultural wear judging will be held on October 27, 2025, ahead of the main event, with those outfits also to be showcased on the night of the pageant. Vera said there will also be changes to the question and answer segment as well as the swimwear segment.
2025 also comes with exciting changes. The cultural wear segment will be judged at our Independence Day parade under the theme Once Upon a Village. For the first time, the delegates will bring their villages to life, portraying stories of agriculture, fishing, folklore, and tradition. On show night, audience will also experience this cultural bloom in our opening number. This strengthens the roots between the delegates and their communities while allowing our heritage to flourish. At the heart of these changes is one clear aim: to get our communities more involved and to see Victoria Park filled on the night of Miss SVG.
The contestants are undergoing rigorous training 4 days a week, which includes sessions in public speaking, interview preparation, deportment, and talent development. Saturday's launch event was attended by former Miss SVG queens, chaperones, and other pageant stakeholders. SVGTV News caught up with the contestants, and in tonight's feature, we highlight contestant number 1, Charisma Charles, sponsored by Instacash. The 20-year-old hails from Brighton and is a graduate of the SVG Community College. She aspires to study law, a dream inspired by her own experiences with financial hardship.
A degree in paralegal studies. It was kind of like a fight because I had to do it like 3 times. I started first in 2020, stopped, then 2022 and 2025 I finally graduated. Because knowing me, I'm not from a background where my parents are financially stable, so I had to dip a little between work and school, but eventually I got there. Interest from weight law sparked it literally from my grandparents, where my grandfather was illiterate, so he did not know much about property law, so he lost his property. And before he died, he spent all his savings trying to get it back. So that is what really sparked my interest in law. Defending those that cannot defend themselves. Hoping that along the way I can do a little pro bono and help people along that line.
Charles says she works closely with vulnerable children and intends to continue with them even after winning the Miss SVG crown.
If I was doing this pageant, I'll work on forcing a relationship with every young woman. Doing programs, after-school programs, encouraging and just mentoring them, sharing my journey with them, hoping that I can make their journey a bit better. But I do little donation drives or promotions for the St. Benedict's Children's Home. It's something that I do outside of everything. It keeps my mind calm, working with children and just being there for them any way that I can. I was also finding a little free time during the pageant to learn to sew, so I can teach them to sew, but it's something that I'm still working on.
Charisma Charles also serves as a brand ambassador for Touch of Class Beauty Bar and Visual Designs Photography. The rhythm of the Caribbean came alive today during the Carifesta celebrations, all about the music launch hour concert, which brought together vibrant talent and infectious energy to celebrate the region's rich and diverse musical heritage. Staged as part of the Carifesta calendar, the event featured a dynamic blend of performances showcasing everything from traditional rhythm to contemporary Caribbean sounds. The concert created an atmosphere of cultural pride, unity, and celebration. Patrons gathered for the midday showcase and were treated to a captivating lineup of Vincentian artists whose performances highlighted the essence of Caribbean creativity. The event reflected Carifesta's core mission, celebrating Caribbean identity through the arts while providing a platform for both emerging and established musicians to shine.
Displaying the for carnival, fancy mass in my land, masqueraders inside the band, jumping up to a soca beat, we chop coming down to the streets. It don't matter where you come from, represent.
When the liquor hit me, it's whole night I drink it, whole night I drink it, whole night. When I drink the rum when it's, when I hold a girl when it's, when the soca hit